I am live. I am putting on the link onto the page. Dun, 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 dun. Link to join. Dum, 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 dum. Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window. Update. Update. It should be E8, right? Share E8. It is. Okay, let's view the page. I can make sure it opens up to the right place. There I am. Enter. Put that down. All right. I'm going to start in let's call it 4 minutes. How's my hair? Why does that rattle? Why do you rattle? Guys, we'll start in 1 minute. If one of you doesn't mind letting me know if the sound is good. Hopefully you're not wondering why your sound is off. It might be my sound. Been having pretty good luck with the sound though, so hopefully you're hearing me just fine. Dum, 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 dum. All right, so we'll get started. I'm assuming you're hearing me just fine. Today's lesson is on Frere, Jacques, which, guys, level 1, we go through this over and over and over. Same basic skill set in every single song is important. Hey, Elizabeth, welcome in. Glad you're here. Hopefully the sound is good. Um, the same basic set of ideas in every single lesson in level 1 is to get you playing the chord properly, holding your guitar properly, making sure you're in tune, and that's sort of the base level, right? And then the next level is to get you these 4 chords that we play: G chord, D chord, A chord, and E chord. Those are all lifelong chords. Thanks, Elizabeth. Appreciate it. Those are lifelong chords. You're going to play those every single day of your life. So let's get those 4 chords just really a part of who you are, where you don't have to think about, if I need to put on an E chord, boy, my hand just magically ends up there. A chord, same thing, just magically there. D chord down here. And of course, G chord's a little stretched out. But when you're on level 1 songs in this program, those are the 4 chords. We want those just to be a part of who you are. And then the next thing that's important in this system is to be able to read tablature and play 1 note at a time, and that's your guitar melody line. And of course, you are welcome to play the standard notation on the chords and lyrics line. It's the exact same information as the guitar melody line. The standard notation in the chords and lyrics line is the type of notation that all musicians can read. 90% of musicians, maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing a whole bunch of musicians can read that line. And it has almost all the information you would need. It's absolutely amazing. The problem with that line is it doesn't tell you which A it wants. For example, the first note on this song is that note. Okay? Well, that note shows up on a few other places around your guitar, and it doesn't tell you where that the sheet music does not tell you which note it wants, which one it wants you to play, which A note does it want you to play, and you have to infer from the way this music moves that you would play it down here. The guitar melody line, the tablature, tells you all exactly the same thing, and it does tell you where to do it. The one thing that line does not tell you is how long to hold the note, which it does in the standard notation line. So that's why we give you both. Okay, it's important for you to know that if you want to play just the standard notation line, I have all of that sheet music waiting for you, ready to go. If you never want to look at a tab, 100% fine. If, on the other hand, you are not going to go into academic guitar, there's really no reason to worry about that line. Tablature is going to take good care of you for the rest of your life. 300 years of lute music, not entirely in tablature, right? So it works just fine for this type of instrument. Fretted instruments and tablature are real good old friends, and you should not feel that it's inferior, or that you are somehow cheating the system by the fact that it only takes you 10 minutes to learn how to read that, and it takes about 2 years to learn how to read standard notation effectively. So again, I want you to know that you've got both. They're both there. You decide what's going to make the most sense for you. I think, long term, it's nice to know how to read them both, but certainly in this program, I spend most of my time talking to you about tablature. Oh, hey, Jim, welcome in. Glad you're here today. Goodness sakes, you've been logging the midnight oil. Midnight oil? Is that the phrase? I don't know. You've been burning the oil on both ends. How about that? All right, so Frere, Jacques, we played this song on Wednesday, but we played it in the key of E. Today we're going to play it in the key of A, and that's going to give us a chance to, instead of being way up here on the 9, right, we're going to be able to play that same note way down here, but in a different key. And so it's going to, relative to the other notes in the song, it's going to sound just fine. We just don't need to go way down here to get it. And so that's why when you're learning new music and you're like, boy, I like whatever key it is, or I like these set of chords, and then you get a new song and it's got a different set of chords. You're like, oh man, I don't want to have to learn a whole new set of chords. But the nice part about it is that you can, depending on the song and the key, you can arrange it on this instrument most of the time where it's easier to play or harder to play, depending on what key it is in. And so I teach you it in the key of E because it's pretty easy to play that whole song on one string. That's a good way to get started in guitar, is just play that on one string. The next step is to take the same exact song, play it on more than one string, play it on multiple strings. You're going to use 4 of them here. We're going to use those 4, but we're not going to be sliding up and down here. We're going to be mostly hanging out down here. So again, with music, it's all sort of relative as to what's going to work and what's not going to work. And in this case, this song works in both ways. And the first lesson, we're just teaching you how to read the tablature. In the second one, we're teaching you how to read to more effectively use the tablature so that you have to do less work. Okay. This would be the second lesson in the first book, and so we remind ourselves, number one, that this is the correct way to hold your guitar. I happen to have a strap on today. Don't necessarily need to have a strap, but if you are going to ever perform in front of a group, chances are you're going to be standing up and wearing a strap to hold your guitar on, and so it makes sense to practice with one on. And also, if you are standing up in front of a group of people playing, you're not going to be playing horizontal. That guitar is going to drop into classical position, and so it makes sense to practice in classical position with the guitar dropping down between your legs. If you are always going to play at home and you are always going to be playing sitting down and you are not concerned about your posture, playing in horizontal makes sense, right? A lot of guys do it and they're perfectly happy. What you will notice is you're going to have little choice, but your thumb's going to have to go up here, and then you're going to get really cramped chord shapes here. Not ideal by a long shot. So if you teach yourself to play with it in this position and keep your thumb where I can't see it down here, hanging out behind wherever your middle finger is, your thumb is hanging out there, that's going to make it easier for you to do all styles of guitar, including rockin' and jazz and all of that stuff. You're getting nice clean shapes and easy on the body type finger approach is going to make your life so much easier down the road and reduce the amount of weird stuff that you have to deal with. And one of the things I fight is that I have a tendency to get a little chicken wingy, and then this sort of collapses like this. So this is a way to work to make sure, hey, this is going to be straight. This is my elbow is basically holding nothing. It's just ready to drop down. And my shoulders are soft. Okay. I know when I'm playing poorly because my shoulders are up here, my back hurts and all this stuff, right? So it's a nice comfy position, okay? Our chord today is an A chord. I'm going to put this up here. Index finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Middle finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Ring finger on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. So we're cramming everybody. Oops, sorry, I'm sure that sounded great in your speakers. We're cramming everybody into the 2nd fret, strings 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Ideally, with A chord, ideally you're going to strum from the A string down. So you're really going to play 5 strings. That's ideal. Okay. If you end up hitting the 6th string, it's okay because that's an E note. And that E string will sound fine in an A chord. Okay. There's your A chord. Okay, beautiful, right? As you guys know, I'm not a singer, but we're going to sing right now. Give you some choices. If you want to play this as a newer player and you're just like, I just got to survive today, it's Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques. Just your thumb, nice, soft. Okay, just downs, down, 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 down. If, on the other hand, you're, hey, I got that. This is not a problem. I want to do some other interesting work on here. Let me give you some other ideas. You can take this finger, go down with your fingernail, and come back up with the pad, and do it twice as fast as I was just doing the thumb strum. Frere, Jacques, that would be the eighth note strum, just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, you can get cool with that too. There's lots of other choices. You can take everybody down and then come back up. It's big. It makes your guitar sound really big. The other one is to go everybody down, stop the sound with your palm, and then come up, and then you're going to get this. That what happens then is there's no chord here. You're just making a percussive noise. And then when you come back up, that's where this chord erupts from. So the chord is actually going to come in a half a beat behind where you think it should. And so you get Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, do, re, do, do, re, do. Okay, so that's kind of a reggae feeling, or just a real, even a Polynesian feeling, just a real percussive sound, followed by the chord coming in a little bit after you sing the note. That's a fun thing to do. Next level players, guys, you are talking about the claw. That's these four fingers. You're going to put them on the middle four strings, A, D, G, and B strings. Okay, holding your A chord. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, do, re, do. So you're just taking that. Mostly your knuckles are just collapsing. Your hand is collapsing in on itself. Okay, that's what we like to see. The other one would be thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, do, re, do. Okay, and so on. And just notice that my claw hand, I don't have it in a row like this, stacked up on top of each other. It's all at an angle, okay? And the guitar being properly, the guitar having the proper, what is the word I'm looking for? Angle, I guess, the guitar playing at the proper angle magically makes it super easy for me to get these fingers in at the correct angle. I'm going to raise this up so you can see. Okay? And that's what we're looking at. And also notice how soft and doing nothing my arm is now. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques. So all of that stuff is playing into making yourself sound more sophisticated on what amounts to a very straightforward song. Not that complicated, but we can really take a lot of choices and a lot of smartness and a lot of adventurous spirit with your right hand to create something cool for Jacques ways. I'd like to play through the song twice. I'm going to play from the top down through measure 8. And we're going to go back to the top, play through it a second time. When I get to the end of measure 7, I'm going to skip over measure 8 and I'm going to play 9 through the end. What I would suggest when we get to the ending, ding, dang, dong, strum, ding, dang, dong, strum, strum. So let's do just a single strum on measure 10 is a big fancy finish. Okay, what I like for you to do when you're brand new is just try to survive with us. Keep the beat steady. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just do that. If you've been around a while, like those two guys, okay, you've been around a while. Do one strum pattern the first time and then try a different strum pattern the second time. Okay, from the top, let's get that A chord on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Here we go. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong. at the end. In my orchestra, I like them on almost every song. When we get to the very last thing, sounds beautiful, right? Not on every song, but a lot of songs. It's just a really, that's something this instrument will do for you. Boom, and you sound amazing. And that's what we want, right? We want to sound amazing. Okay, so both of those are both all of the strum patterns that you're thinking about, or all of the strumming techniques, probably is a better phrase for that, are going to come into play as a fingerstyle guitarist. And if you have somebody who's a singer and you're hanging out with them, you probably will do all of that stuff. You'll probably sometimes strum, sometimes you will pluck, sometimes you will do an arpeggio, sometimes you'll do something kind of fancy and exciting. And so you want to be messing around with all that. Don't every single song you take, take a minute to run through the chords and practice different right hand patterns and see if you can get it where it sounds really nice. All right, that's your A chord. So if you were brand new in the program, you would have a E chord and an A chord ready to roll. You'd have those things memorized and part of who you are. And now we're going to strum pluck through the melody. I always tell people it's perfectly fine when you're learning to use your thumb, okay, because that's going to come up a lot anyway, so it's perfectly fine. If you are a next level player, you might want to be thinking about using index and middle to do all of your plucking, just alternating them. Okay, I alternate them until I get to a half note. Then I usually start over with my index finger in the next measure. But try it both ways. See which one works. What happens when you're IMing is everything's going great till it's not going great, and then all of a sudden you're stuck at a weird string crossing, and you're like, oh, I'm on the wrong string, or I got to get up from here back up to there. That's why we work on that, is to just to IM our way through these weird string crossings. And when you're doing that at these songs that are a little more cooperative, you learn a lot about what to do when you're like, there's this, I caught that note, and now I gotta get way over there, or whatever it happens to be. You'd be working on playing I am. Okay, that's not an important skill. Okay, I'm going to first talk about positional playing, and then we're going to talk about what would happen if we just held the chord and played the same exact idea. Okay, so we're going to talk about if there's a 2, you want to use your middle finger in the 2nd fret, and if there's a 3, I want you to use your ring finger in the 3rd fret, and that's all the notes there are. It's either a 2 in this fret or a 3 in this fret. Middle, ring is your only 2 fingers you're going to use over here. You can use your thumb on everything here, and it's going to sound fine. Okay, so the first note is a 2 on the 3rd string. That's where we start. Let's give it a try. 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2. I want us to do that again because I messed it up, and when you're looking at the video, you're like, what the heck is he doing? So start on this 2 again. 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. One more time. 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Second ending. 2, 2, 2. And then really let that ring out. Don't take this finger off the frets until the guitar is completely silent. Okay, and then you take it off. Okay, that last note, the last chord, the last whatever in guitar, we want that guitar just to ring out for a real long time, unless the arranger specifically tells you not to do that. And I don't think I will ever tell you not to do that. But if you get a piece of, a classical piece of music or a jazz piece where they want the bunk, right? when you hit that big boom at the end, then they'll want you to just stop the guitar real fast. But for the most part, especially acoustic guitar, we're going to let that ring out. It's going to sound pretty. Okay, so you notice we're all on the twos. Every now and then we toss in a three, and then of course plenty of zeros. And that worked out perfectly fine playing it positionally. So you were playing in first position. Your index was here. You didn't use it, but that was there. Middle was on 2, and ring was on 3. That's called first position. 1, 2, 3, 4, and everybody's happy. All of the notes, you can cover anything that's a 1, 2, 3, or a 4 in first position. Okay, as the music gets more sophisticated, oftentimes we'll be looking at fifth position or even fourth position. Whether you'll be playing positionally all over the place on here, sometimes for just a bar or two, and then you're going to go back here or whatever. But the idea is just get where you're comfy doing positional playing, where the twos are here, the threes are here, and that's all you're going to do. Now, let's talk about, so that's a big deal. Let's stop just and take a moment to pause and say, I'm a level 1 guitar player. I need to know how to make an A chord. I need to know how to play melody. If I can get that figured out, I'm good on level 1, right? I don't need to be the greatest guitar player that God ever put on the earth yet. Might end up being there. But in the beginning, all you're trying to do is learn your A chord and learn how to play a melody. And if you've got that going, that's all we would expect at this level. Let's talk about next level skills. Again, when you're in my class here in Denver, I don't really spend a lot of time talking about this. But when you're here online and I got you trapped, why not? Okay. Let's put that A chord on. Now let's go play the melody and see what happens. If I'm holding this and I play the melody, let's find out how many changes we have to make to this shape to see what happens. Okay. First note's a 2 on the 3rd string. I'm already holding it down. Next note's a 0. I'm holding a 2 on that string, so I'm going to lift this up and hit the 0. Then I'm going to put it back down to get the next 2. And then my next note, the 2 on the 3rd string, I'm already holding down. So I can just do that. All I got to do is make my ring finger. Measure 2. Okay, all I have to do is make that one little motion. I can play that whole measure. Okay, measure 3. It's going to be a 2 on the 2nd string. I'm already holding it down. I'm going to add my pinky to get the 3. And then my open string is on number 1. It already is. Okay, and notice I don't need to move this yet. I'm just letting them stay there. Now I have to move it. And again, just let that do the least. Do a little bit of wanky stuff with my pinky, and that's all I got to do. Okay, next measure 5. I've got a 0 on top. Already open. Now I gotta grab this 2. So I'm probably gonna use my pinky, but sometimes I'll roll my ring finger down to get that 2. Either of those will get you the job done. There's a bit of a benefit in using your ring finger to roll down and come back up, because that allows your pinky to be ready to hit the 3. Lose the pinky, and hit the 2 again. Okay, again. And then I got all these next 2s in measure 7 and 8. And I'm already holding everything down. So when you play like this, which is how fingerstyle guitarists play, they grab the chord, they hold on to it for dear life, they modify it if they have to, and then you'll see a whole lot less motion going on over here, and a whole lot of sound is coming out with just maybe a little bit of a pinky adjustment or a little bit of a ring finger adjustment. So let's play this again. Try holding the A chord, and we'll just play it all just one time through 1 through 8, and see if your fingers will cooperate after studying that just a little bit. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me start again because I blew it. 1, 2, 3, 4. what you want to do is just notice how little bit of motion. I had to work my pinky kind of hard. I had a few jobs to do with that. Had to do a little bit of work with my ring, but these two fingers hung out there through the whole entire song. Did nothing, okay, other than create the chord, which is something. Okay, and so that's what we're talking about as we get into fingerstyle. Is hey, we're going to hold this chord. We're going to see how much music we can get out of it. We're going to see how little or how much we have to modify it as the melody rolls around through and against that chord. And then when we're all done, we're going to have this nice arrangement. Okay? Typically, when I'm teaching in a classroom setting, I typically may or may not cover that issue. At this point, I have to cover it when we get to level 2, but you guys are geniuses, so why not cover it here? Okay. The third or the 12th or whatever number I'm on, the last piece of playing, which I do not ever cover in class in level 1, other than to play it for them, is the tough axe. And those of you guys that are been coming around a while, you know what's going on. What we're going to do is we're going to take our thumb and play that tough axe, and we're going to just strum it down until we hit all of the notes that it says. And in tough axe, grabbing the chord is required. It absolutely is something you're going to want to do. Okay. Now this one says 0, 2, 2, so that's strings 5, 4, and 3. You're going to raise that ring finger up, put it back down, and hit the 2. You're already holding it down. Same exact thing. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of an A chord. We're going to add that 3, and then a full A chord. Again, add your ring, add your pinky, and then full A chord. Okay. And we're going to play a full A chord. Grab the 2, pinky, A chord, hit the 2. Full A chord. 2, 3. And partial A. Hit the 2. Again. Okay, that's how we work it. Okay, I'd like to go through one of the things I noticed myself doing was the in measures 5 and 6. One time I dropped this down to get the 2. One time I added my pinky to get the 2. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I do think you want to make a decision of which one you want to do and stick with it, right? All right, let's play top to bottom. Oh, I forgot. Let's stop. Before we play top to bottom, if you're a more advanced player and you should, as soon as possible, begin thinking about treating it with your claw. So for it to it, that's what you're thinking about doing. Because we want to be able to do this one, but we got to be able to do this one. And this one's much, in my mind, it's much easier to do the thumb down one, but we don't want to just rely entirely on that. It sounds beautiful. Every single arrangement I do is going to sound just fine if you do that way, because when I write them, that's how I write them, because that's how a lot of my players want to play. But if they don't, if you want to take it that next level guitar and be really a fine fingerstyle guitarist, and you have to do it for classical guitar, and most jazz guitar is going to play this way, you're going to be playing in this claw position where you're picking up everything, whatever it happens to be. You'll notice on my arrangements it's normal for me to have 5 strings covered, like end of measure 3. I'm asking for this. And you're like, well, I've only got 4 fingers. Should I use 5? No, don't use 5 fingers. Just use 4 and skip the second lowest note, so like lowest string. Okay? And don't worry about hitting that D string. Okay? A lot of fingerstyle tablature will already have that written out for you. I think it's confusing. I think that you as a guitarist know better. You see all that down there and you're like, well, I can either do this or I can do this. Okay, but I'm not going to bring my pinky in and do some weird sort of, right? Because you just don't have a quality control of your pinky. If you are a university graduate in classical guitar, you have control over this guy. The rest of us don't have control over it. And so just skip something in the middle here that your listener won't miss. Okay. All right. From the top, I'm going to do thumb down the first time, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the claw the second time. Okay, from the top. And then this is our last time through, guys. This lesson just zipped right on by, didn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. The top. Second ending. And then really let that ring. Let it ring. Still going. Sounds good. Okay. Don't let this up. If you have to stop it, drag your paw up over the top of the bridge, over the saddle, and then to get it to stop that way. That's if you're in a hurry, right? All right, and you're not in a hurry. You're a guitar player. You're going to die not having finished everything you needed to do on this. So it doesn't matter, right? Take your time. Play beautifully. Play slow. Play the easy stuff. Once in a while, toss in a hard one just to aggravate yourself. But enjoy this. Enjoy this machine on this basic stuff, because if you can get the basic stuff clean and pretty, where you have real command over it, then you're going to be in great shape for the next level piece, right? And next level, of course, level 2, level 3, all of those, the complexity of the music is quite a bit more noticeable pretty quickly. And I want you ready and solid by the time you get this stuff done. Now, tomorrow, we are working on a Tisket a Tasket, which is a dumb song, but the skill set that's in there is pretty good. It's pretty valuable. And so we want to take what we learn here and take exactly those same tools, and put it onto that, where there's 2 chords going back and forth, and we have to work through the same exact process on a little bit more sophisticated song. Again, the songs don't matter. It's the skill set we bring to the songs that's going to make all the difference. I think it's going to give you a lot more rewarding life in guitar. I know when the haphazard approach to guitar I took for my entire life, I had some random skills. None of it added up to anything. And so every single song was a struggle. Now, pretty much any song I can take and I can absolutely figure out how to play it in a meaningful and pretty way. Maybe not at the highest level, maybe not at Carlos Santana level, but at a nice, pleasant, sit at home and entertain the cat and the wife and the husband and whoever else is in around. They like to hear me play. They say they do. They probably would rather not. They probably would rather I sit outside. But the idea is, hey, I can play nice stuff, nice pretty things, and that's what we want to do with guitar. And of course, we're always working on the next cool skill that we want to work on. And so hopefully you'll get a few of those along here too. This piece is a good prelude to Simple Gifts. Oh yeah, heck yeah, man. Level 2 Simple Gifts is built on the same basic concept. It's a 2-chord song, but the idea again is soft, pretty, steady mix of eighth notes, quarter notes, and half notes. One of those songs, and one of the world classic songs, is what I think is the best 2-chord song in existence. And it's just waiting for you. Get your skills up on this kind of stuff, and then level 2 songs are just waiting there. And as you guys know, all that sheet music sitting on the website. You can go download it, denverguitarorchestra.com. Go download those sheet music. Don't try to play everything. Try to play one thing well, right? And that starts with playing all the level 1 stuff. Make sure that you're doing that. That's the biggest number one thing that is going to waste your time is you rushing around, trying to get in 75 songs from every band you ever heard of, all stacked in a book. That's not playing guitar. Pick one of those songs and just dive into it and get to know every single thing about how that piece of sheet music turns into real music on the guitar, and then get rid of that piece of sheet music and just play the guitar. That's, I think, that of any piece of advice that I can give students is stop trying to play everything. Pick 4 or 5 songs that are below your ability and really kill them. That's what you want. I think. I don't know. I know everything. I know nothing. Let's see. Tomorrow, I already talked to Tisket to Tasket. We're going to spend the rest of this week. If you're not on the mailing list, get on the mailing list, because we're going to have some significant changes next week. We're going to change the time. This time slot has not worked out for a lot of people. And what I do know is that the time slot that this is working out for, that'll also work out for an earlier time slot. So I'm going to move this, not this week. Next week, we're going to move these level 1, 2, and 3. And probably I'm going to start a level 4 class on Fridays. That's going to move to 2 o'clock. And then we're going to have weekly one level 4 song, brand new each week. I'm going to send it out on Fridays. You guys will have the whole week to get it together. And then on Thursday nights, we're going to play. And so we'll have a one song concert. That's my new thing, is to get focused in on one piece of music, spend a week on it, dig into it, get where your guitar is, where you know that tune. Whether you're playing chords, whether you're playing melody, whether you're playing the tough axe part, whether you're doing just arpeggios, whatever manner makes the most sense to you. Then we'll get together on Thursday night and we'll play it through half a dozen times until we really get an understanding of how that piece of music is flowing. And once we understand how one piece of music flows, so many other pieces of music will follow suit. Just exactly what Elizabeth is saying. Hey, she's been digging her into simple gifts. Well, she comes to Frere and she's like, oh, crud, all of the stuff that I've been working on is sitting here in this song that's a little bit easier. And so what we find is that baseline stuff that seems kind of boring to play at the time pays you back. Okay, and so there we go. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night. I smell whatever Donna is cooking smells delicious in there, so I'm going to get in there. I hope you're having a wonderful night. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see all of you hopefully tomorrow for a Tisket a Tasket. You know, and I know that you're dying to play a Tisket a Tasket. That little girl, she picked up a note, she put it in her pocket. I don't know what she was thinking. It's just not the way to treat somebody's note, and so we're gonna solve that problem. All right, Jim. Have a wonderful night. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. Whoever else is hiding up over here in our little widget, thanks for being here as well. And I'm gonna go get out of here. I will, Elizabeth. Thank you, guys. I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great evening.